is Darren McNamara. I'm an Irish professional drifter, I guess, kind of migrated to more of a car builder now. Been drifting a long time. Started off when I was a teenager in Ireland, moved to the USA to do it professionally. Happened to get hold of some DVDs from Japan on eBay, and these guys were doing all sorts of crazy things in basically the car that I owned. So that kind of got me interested, and then we decided to start into it, and from there it just got more and more serious until I decided to take that car off the street and build it in a shed to a full competition spec, and then just kind of went from there. And there was no such thing as European drifting. So my brother started to organise events and just to try and start drifting in this country. So I would have been there at the genesis really of Irish drifting. So my brother organised the first events and I drove in the first events. So I got kind of a head start that way. But then I had a motorsport background. So I was racing cars since I was 11 years old. Drifting seems to be a culture more than a motorsport. You get so many people that are not so interested in cars and not interested in other motorsports, just love drifting because it's cool and the cars are cool. It was a tough sell at the start, it really was, but as we kept going, put more effort into it, tried to be taken seriously with what we were doing, then we got there in the end. But it was for a couple of years it was a shaky thing to convince people that it was going to be something, maybe. So the likes of James Dean, the Shanahans, they're all like 20 minutes from here max, so we're all in a little bubble. So my dad would have been good friends with James Dean's dad, and my dad would have competed against the Shanahan's dad. So it goes a generation before us in what was going on, and that's all I used to watch from the age of about 2, 3, whatever it was. They brought me to the track and I was watching these escorts going sideways, so it's kind of bred into you at that stage. Then when the sons came along, we took it up, and as I said, it was bred into us. We kind of took the sport and developed it a bit. We owe a lot to our parents, I think, all of us do. They really got us hooked in it, and they supported us so much as we grew up through it, and all the race cars I had, my dad paid for all of them, and everything I learned along the way, so much of it is down to him. So the support that they give us and the knowledge they've given us through their commitment really, put us in a great position to be top of the sport.
Told them this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for a raise. Got a bill, now they coming with a blaze. Chatting numbers, fam, that's why I'm getting paid. I'm a don just like the Perrier. This one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low, pushing at a base.
I was 19 when I really started to get part of it. I did an event in the UK which was run by the Japanese championship, which would have been the biggest championship at the time. So I won the event, and I got invited to the USA to do an event in the USA that the Japanese championship ran. I went ahead and they shipped my car to California one way with no way home. And I just decided to try the opportunity. We ended up doing exceptionally well. I think we were the highest finishing non-Japanese driver at the events, and just as a kind of a nobody, that's still kind of unheard of. It's a very difficult thing to do. So they offered me a contract And that's what really set me off. So that was my breakthrough moment. But when I got to the US, it turned out the company had no interest in giving someone tires they didn't know. We ended up taking all our money that we had for being in the USA, and we ended up purchasing tires from a company called Falcon Tire. And then I ended up being the highest finishing Falcon Tire driver both rounds, and then it was Falcon that offered me a contract. So it was a bit of a fairy tale kind of story. That was the moment for me. It was scary, it was nerve-wracking, but it was what really set me on my road to the success that I had there. So I went to the US. It was 50-50 whether I would stay there, you know, but I always had this kind of hustle going on back here, so I was back and forth. We had a bit of a European race program, so when I was come back from the USA, I had a bit of a European thing going on here myself. So I took some time out, build this company. Group D came about from the car you see behind me, which is based on a Group B rally car. I thought then the Group D would just tie in with everything. I thought it was a cool name. It's a good name for a brand. You know, the D doesn't really mean anything. It can mean drift, it can mean Darren, whatever you want it to mean. I think it was the right decision to just take a step back and think about the long-term goals. And it's worked out because we're back at it now, you know, and I can almost do any event I like, but you have to think of yourself a little bit, and I'm glad I always had that side hustle here and I didn't go all out for something that mightn't have lasted, you know. So it's sometimes you got to think about yourself and what you're going to do in the long run.
I'm Mike Fitz. I'm 40 apparently. Not that I feel it. I would consider myself a current pro drifter, but some people would say farmer. I'm the sales manager here at Group D. I just look after the day-to-day of the business, and kind of anything that needs doing, I sort it out basically and just make sure that the business runs as it should. I was actually sponsored by Darren at the start of 2011 after I crashed my S13. Darren and a good friend of mine, Jules Chambers, stepped in and helped me out to build my dream drift car, basically an FCR X7. I had a dream of going drifting. He helped it to happen, made my dreams come true basically in terms of drifting, and I'm always grateful to him for that. I had a really good crash in Dunleary. I hit a pole. It was Jack Shanahan's fault, not mine. My mom was going to stick to that. I gave myself an all right concussion. My car was pretty wrecked, and I came back from the ambulance, and Darren was in underneath my car, hammering and fixing it and getting it back rolling just to get it right for me at the event, you know. So he didn't have to do that. He went the extra mile to just help me out. Darren's whole existence does actually revolve around cars and drifting for sure. He's super dedicated. He's probably the most dedicated guy I know.
Everything has been this sport, you know, everything. So I've about 20 years at it now, which is hard to believe. All my friends are from it, you know. It is my social life also, you know. I don't really socialize in any other way. It is my life. I've given every cent, everything. I've forgone house ownership. I've forgone personal sexy vehicle ownership on the road, or whatever you might say. I could have any sort of Ferrari or anything for the price of these things, but yeah, a lot of things that people find value in, and I haven't chosen that. I've chosen my own path, which has been just this sport, so to speak, and it's certainly different and strange and really hard for a lot of people to understand that might have families and mortgages. That's how my life is shaped. If something is seen as the norm, then I'm not really going to go for it. It doesn't interest me. It's certainly by choice. I wanted to follow my dream, and doing this and doing this makes me happy, you know. That's doing this is what gives me my fix, you know. So if you find something that makes you happy and you can make it your job and make it your profession in one sense, and then why not stick to it? You know, there's plenty of people unhappy out there, so I'm happy doing this, and long may it last. And if other things happen in the meantime, then so be it. You know, it was meant to happen. But I'll keep doing this as long as it puts a smile on my face, and it has done for 20 years, so I don't see it stopping anytime. I do want to come back into the European side of it at the highest level, which is Drift Masters. You know, it's such a cool scene. It's such an amazing thing that who knows how much longer it will last or whatever. And if I wasn't part of it, I would always regret it. So just like the rest of my life, no regrets. So I will be back into it a lot more involved very shortly, I hope.